Today, I'm making greens. And not only that, I'm making vegan greens. This is a recipe for all the people that love any kind of greens, collard greens, kale, arugula, anything. But there's no ham. Sorry. About a year and a half ago, I watched What the Health. I don't know if you've watched it, but if you plan on ever eating bacon or ham again in your life, probably don't watch it. It will ruin you forever. So I haven't really eaten those things since I watched it. But I do love greens, so I wanted to do a vegan version. And this is good for all the people that don't eat meat, so anyone can enjoy these greens. And you're not gonna miss any of the flavor because these are so delicious. So in here I have 1 onion that I chopped up, and I've been cooking a little bit of olive oil, a couple tablespoons, for about 7 or 8 minutes. So you want these to get pretty soft. These greens cook in less than 30 minutes, and this was the only prep that I did. I cut this onion and I let it start cooking because it needs a little bit of time to get pretty soft because we're not going to cook them for hours and hours like regular greens. And also, I didn't want to cry in front of you guys because I cannot cut an onion without crying. I can, no matter how far away I stand. I don't understand. So these are looking good. They're pretty soft and tender. Don't burn them. I have this on like low, so it needs a little bit of time to go. So once these are pretty good, I'm going to just add a little bit of salt and pepper here. And since we are not putting in any ham or a ham hock or anything like that, the secret ingredient, it's gonna bring all the flavor for these greens, and you guys are gonna love it. If you don't have this yet, next time you go to the grocery store, you're gonna wanna grab it. Okay, it's my secret weapon. You may have it because you're watching this, and for that, I thank you. Better than bouillon, okay? Veggie base. They do have these like chicken and beef and ham and all that. They have a garlic and they have a veggie. This veggie is what I use in a lot of dishes. It's amazing. It's in with the soups and the stocks and stuff like that, so grab this next time. Especially people that don't eat meat for like gravies and all kinds of stuff. This is like amazing. So to the onions, we're gonna add, I would say like 2 good tablespoons. It's like a big spoon. So about 2 tablespoons in here. So I'm gonna add this in. We're gonna stir it all around to mix in with those onions. And we're also going to add a little bit of garlic in here, but I like to do that right at the end because even when you have your pan on low, garlic can easily burn, and you do not want to ruin your dish with burned garlic, let me tell you that. Because if you burn it, there's no coming back from that. So, this is, oh, I wish you guys could smell this. This is so good already. What is it with onions cooking that's amazing? Okay, now, do you see like the color that it gives? Look at this. Love it. So we're gonna let that cook for a second while I add this garlic. And then, this is my other secret weapon. If you've seen my other video, squeeze garlic. No chopping, no hand smelling of garlic. I love it. I just dropped it and broke the top. Sorry. It's okay, I'm still using it. All right, that's about a tablespoon, which I guess if you have regular garlic, if you're a normal person, probably like 2 cloves is good. All right, so mix all of that in. Now this recipe is for collard greens, so you want like a sturdy green that's gonna last, so don't get anything like really super light or leafy. Kale would also work in here if you wanna do this. Collard greens are best. I got a greens trio. So this has turnip greens, mustard greens, and collard greens. So figured why not? A little extra flavor. Switch it up a little bit. Nope. Gonna have to cut this guy. All right. So you want to do this in a big pot because we're pouring in this whole thing. This is a pound. 16 ounces. And at first it's gonna look like a lot. You're gonna think, oh my gosh, how is this fitting? But we're gonna stir it for a minute and it's gonna wilt down And then we're gonna add some broth and we're gonna be good to go. Look at that. You guys hear that sizzle? I'm gonna let these cook for a second. After they wilt down a little bit, and I will attempt to slightly mix them. All right. Okay, I'm gonna give these a couple minutes. If you want, you can put the top on here if you're impatient. Doesn't matter. You put the top and the steam's gonna start cooking them and wilting them even faster, but greens wilt pretty quickly. It's only gonna take a couple minutes anyway. So I'm gonna go grab my broth so we can add that to get it cooking. Okay, so I gave my greens about like 2 minutes to start cooking down and soften up a little bit so I could stir them. It's tongs are perfect for this because a spoon is kind of difficult to stir in this pot with all of this stuff. So this is good because you can kind of grab and pull from the bottom and kind of mix everything together. And see, even after 2 minutes, this is already wilted down a lot, which is exactly what you want because we're gonna get these greens nice and tender and they're gonna be so juicy and delicious. So, all right, these are almost ready now. Over the top, I'm just gonna do a little bit more salt because this is a lot of greens. Little salt, little pepper, and crushed red pepper. You can leave this out if you don't like spice, that's fine. I love spice, so you can go as heavy-handed with this as you want. I would say, it's hard for me because I rarely measure things, so it's hard for me to make recipes for you guys. This is about, I would say like a half to 3/4 of a teaspoon. This is gonna give it like a good kick without being so overpowering because it will kind of like amplify the heat as it cooks. We're gonna do that, give it one more stir, and then we're gonna add in our broth. Yep, these are smelling good. Now, if you're not worried about keeping it vegan, you can definitely use chicken broth if you want, but veggie broth. So we need about 3 cups. You definitely want enough to fully cover this. This is 4 cups, so I'm not measuring, just pouring. So it doesn't need to be fully covered like a soup, but you do want that extra sauce for these greens. So I would say a good 2.5 to 3 cups. A little more. Okay, that looks good. And now we can use our spoon. And see, they're not like totally covered, but like 3/4 of the way, I would say. So I want to push them all down in there, and we're gonna turn this to low, and these need to cook for about 25 minutes. You can set it and forget it. You don't need to stir them or do anything. They're gonna be good. 25 minutes, we'll come back and check them. All right, so these have been cooking for 25 minutes, so they should be good to go. Let's check them out. Nothing like a greens facial. All right, perfect. Yep, these are good. Okay, so these are nice and tender, but they're not mushy and falling apart, which is what you want. So we're gonna put some of these in a bowl. Oh yeah. Give these a taste and see how I did. I love how you can see like the onion and the little red pepper flakes in there. I dare any fan of greens to eat these and say that they're missing anything. These are so delicious. telling you, that veggie base is the secret. All right, guys, enjoy.